G'day YouTube people. Once again we're looking at bike parking, but instead of looking at a cafe, today we're going to go to Queen's Park and have a look at the Sam Kerr Football Centre. Now this place opened up about 6 months ago. It's a $50 million redevelopment by the WA government, and I just kind of blundered into it by accident. And you can see how new it is. Google Maps still thinks it's a pile of bushland. But I want to compare the bike parking here, the facilities, with Concord Oval in Sydney, and see what you think about the amount of bike parking that they've provided. Now, the reason I was out here is I was looking at Gipp Street, which is a safe, active street. And when I got down to the far end of it, I saw this stadium and thought, I'll just pull in here and do a lap of it and see what the bike parking and all the facilities look like. I was interested in water bubblers and toilets and cafes and stuff. So here's our first bike rack with 6 hoops and a water bubbler. One of those ones where it's really difficult to fill up your bid on, but hey, at least you can get some water on a hot day, which is really important in Perth when it's 40 degrees in summer and it's absolutely stinking hot. Now look, anyway, this is like I said, a $50 million redevelopment compared to $80 million for Concord. Although Concord got a 4,000 seat stadium, I think, whereas this one only seats 700. Now there's lots of pitches here and practice nets and all the rest of it, and a reasonable sized car park out the back here, which we're about to ride through. Now, years ago, our kids both played soccer in Five Dock, and I remember just what an absolute schmozzle it was for our weekday practices in the evenings, or trying to get to a game anywhere in the inner west on a weekend. We played in Balmain and Burwood and all sorts of places, and driving and parking was always an absolute flippin' nightmare. So whenever, well, thankfully we trained at Campbell Park and lived close enough that we could ride the bikes down. But if it was any further away than that, it was had to jump in the car and drive, and there was never any place where we could securely lock the bikes up in a good location. Now that location thing's important because I'm about to show you where the mass of bike racks is. But if you think about crime prevention through environmental design, that's actually probably a silly spot to do it because there's no surveillance of those bike racks. Now in this building here, just off to our left, is the ticket office. And I'm going to stop here and take some video because what I would have done, oh look, there's more water bubblers, and that one's got a thing you can fill a bit on with. I would have put the bike racks right there in front of the ticket office where someone who's selling tickets could just keep an eye on them and make sure someone doesn't come along and fiddle with the locks and steal them. Similarly, up here there's another bike rack, and it's right next to a cafe. But the people working in the cafe would have no observability of the bike racks. I would have put them where people making coffee can just glance out and see if there's anyone fiddling with the bikes. And similarly around there, there's that bike rack that we passed right at the beginning. No surveillance whatsoever. So yeah, just think about how does that compare with Concord Oval and the amount of bike parking. I mean, we saw bike parking in lots of places. I counted 29 hoops, which would park, 50, 60 bikes easily, which is not bad going. And the other thing is, in terms of getting here, it comes off the safe active street. This safe active street goes all the way down to the shared path, which runs along the railway line, which goes out towards Armidale. So getting here by bike would be fairly straightforward if you don't mind riding some kilometres. So yeah, anyway, there's bike parking in a new facility. You can see in Perth they do put in a decent amount of it. I just think they need to think about the surveillance a little bit more.